Thanks everybody for showing up today. Guests, family, church. What can I say about mental illness? Well, there's a few words I want to say. Lily Tomlin once said, if you talk to God, you are praying. If God talks to you, you have schizophrenia. One of the symptoms of someone experiencing schizophrenia is hearing voices that aren't physically real. Well, schizophrenia is real. It is so real it is frightening to one who experiences it. So real, it brings along with it a paranoid feeling of being watched, of being blamed, and of feelings of shame. The medical profession divides the symptoms of schizophrenia into two parts: negative symptoms and positive symptoms. Positive symptoms are symptoms added to the sufferer outside the norms of human experience. These include delusions, hallucinations, disorganized speech, and disorganized thoughts. Negative symptoms are feelings and behaviors that are lacking, but are experienced within the norms of human experience. These include intimacy and emotions, energy and motivation, and the like. 30 years ago, I was a soldier serving in the United States Army in Washington, D.C. I experienced an episode that changed my life. I discovered I had schizophrenia at the age of 19. Far away from family, I was locked away in a psychiatric ward full of other mentally ill people to be put on medications, to be cared for, and to finally be sent home. I never knew I had schizophrenia before then. I thought it was nothing but stress and boredom. But when the voices came, I turned to alcohol. When they refused to go away, I locked myself in my room all day. My hygiene declined. I didn't shower, I didn't shave, I didn't wash, I didn't sleep. That was when it was found out. During a routine room inspection, my barrack sergeant discovered I spread my own fecal matter on the walls of my room. He sent me to be evaluated. Under the intense scrutiny of doctors, psychiatrists, and failing to make any sense of these ink blot tests. It was soon found out that I had the symptoms of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is treatable with medications and with therapy, but science has not yet discovered a cure. So, for the past 30 years, I had to cope with living with this disability. The biggest obstacle in my way to recovery was not the physical symptoms of schizophrenia, the voices, the paranoia, the depression, or even the sleeplessness, but the stigma attached to mental illness. A 2007 study conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found that only 25% of people surveyed with mental illness thought that the public was caring and sympathetic towards them. I bought into this public stigma that people with mental illness are lazy, stupid, and not capable of doing anything that someone without this disorder can do. Along with this stigma comes shame and humiliation. It took me years to discover the wonderful person I could be and achieve. Years that took me soul-searching, of attending support groups, of counseling, and to taking medications from Mellaril to Abilify. And yet, I still didn't get it. Not until I met people like John Krupp. I can say John was one of my very dear friends. One who, despite severe schizophrenia that took him from hospital to hospital, often under restrictive conditions and electroshock treatments, he could still leave you laughing. He was a boxing fan, and he always told me to keep on punching until I punched a winner. And he is dedicated in my book, Schizophrenia in the Army. Right here. and I try to live up to his words and his outlook on life. I began to understand this illness better from other people's stories. As I said before, schizophrenia is terrifyingly real. But instead of seeing the mentally ill as dangerous, lazy, or stupid, we must change the culture to one of more understanding and support. My message is simple, and is one I teach other veterans and people with mental illnesses. A person is not defined by their disabilities, but rather by their abilities. Consider these people who have lived with schizophrenia. Nobel Prize-winning mathematician Dr. John Nash, founding member of Fleetwood Mac, guitarist Peter Green, the late, great Lionel Aldridge, who helped his team, the Green Bay Packers, win 2 Super Bowls, or Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. I am not a schizophrenic, but a wonderful guy who just happens to live with schizophrenia. And just like a cancer survivor, one is not defined by one's illness, but by one's love and capabilities. The Bible says in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 6 and 7, "In this you greatly rejoice, though now for a little while you may have had to suffer griefs and all kinds of trials. These have come so that your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes even though refined by fire, may be proved genuine and may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." So, in the beginning of my speech, do I talk to God? Yes, I do. Does he talk to me? He does. He spoke to me when my mother came to the hospital to cheer me up so many years ago. He speaks to me through my family and friends who say never give up. He is speaking with me now. I hope you hear him as I do. One last comment. One day in the past, still sketched in my memory, someone attempted suicide when she was locked up with us at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. I didn't know what became of her, but I hope she realizes one thing. There is always a silver lining, maybe in the distance, but if you take the time to listen, anyone can find it.